One of the GOP's first moves has been to attempt to declare that the Congressional Workers Union's victory in securing unionization rights for congressional staff is defunct.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Last Week in Southern Labor is a segment that we do every week, mostly where we tell you what happened in the labor movement in the South. We pull the information from Jonah Furman's newsletter, Who Gets the Bird, which compiles all the information for the entire United States. So if you want to see what's going on outside of the South, subscribe to his newsletter, whogetsthebird.substack.com. This is a longer list. It's for 3 weeks, so some small shops have been left out. And with that, let's jump into new organizing for the week of December 18th to January the 8th. 100 workers at a fifth Trader Joe's store, this time in Louisville, Kentucky, have filed for an election with Trader Joe's United. After stores in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Hadley, Massachusetts successfully unionized, one in Brooklyn, New York lost their vote, and one in Boulder, Colorado withdrew their petition before the vote. The Boulder, Colorado one was with UFCW Local 7, not the independent Trader Joe's United. 60 lumber workers at Patrick Industries in Decatur, Alabama are organizing with RWDSU. 31 workers at farmers market operator Fresh Farm Markets in D.C. are organizing with UFCW Local 400. 26 electricians with TL Electric in Corpus Christi, Texas are organizing with IBEW Local 278. 7 staffers at social services nonprofit Kahoma Opportunities in Clarksdale, Mississippi are unionizing with the Teamsters Local 667. 5 warehouse workers at Dr. Pepper Snapple Group in Fairmont, West Virginia are joining UFCW Local 400. 5 workers subcontracted out of the El Paso-based Training, Rehabilitation, and Development Institute, a staffing agency for disabled workers, are joining the Operating Engineers Local 501 at 3 Federal and Border Patrol offices. 26 workers at Deep Roots Harvest Dispensary in West Wendover, West Virginia, voted 14-8 to join UFCW Local 711. 10 workers at La Colombe in D.C. won that chain's first union 6-1 with UFCW Local 400, the same local that also notched a win at Mom's Organic Market in College Park, Maryland, the third of the chain's 22 locations to unionize and the first with the UFCW. 10 HVAC workers at Fort Knox, Kentucky voted 6-4 to join UA Local 502. 105 workers who bottle Pepsi products for Acadiana Bottling in Youngsville, Louisiana, lost their bid to join the Teamsters Local 270, 39-56. And 235 workers who make fans for Lasco in Fort Worth, Texas, are facing a decertification petition of their union, the Workers United Southwest Regional Joint Board.
Tough loss there in Louisiana for the Teamsters, but was certainly happy to see Decatur, Alabama on the list there, and wishing RWDSU all the luck in that campaign.
Absolutely. In strikes and bargaining, the UMWA strike at Warrior Met in Brookwood, Alabama rolls on. You can listen to our conversation with the Secretary-Treasurer of the International Union for some of the reasons the strike has lasted so long. 400 some odd workers and 3 steelworkers locals at the West Rock Paper Mill in Cottonton, Alabama, rejected a so-called last, best, and final offer from the company to end the 3-month lockout. The News Guild has won what is apparently the first union contract at a Texas newspaper after a 24-day strike at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. In politics and legislation, as Congress faced a partisan changeover, the institution suddenly got motivated to do a few things and managed to pass increased funding for the NLRB, though far short of union demands, before the Democrats handed over the House to the GOP. One of the GOP's first moves has been to attempt to declare that the Congressional Workers Union's victory in securing unionization rights for congressional staff is defunct. Literally trying to take away constitutional rights from their staff. It's amazing. Management lawyer John Ring is finally off the National Labor Relations Board. The Democrats are expected to just let his seat stay empty for a while, hopefully making good use of the 3-1 Democratic majority. The Federal Trade Commission announced that it is banning non-compete agreements, which suppresses wages by barring workers from taking certain jobs, even after they leave an employer. Just a helpful reminder that the federal government can, in fact, use its immense power to intervene on the side of workers. It just chooses not to. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments in Glacier Northwest. We're going to be talking about that later in the program. The latest judicial attack on union rights in this country, which would open private sector unions to massive lawsuits for damages caused by striking. The New York Times looked at White House fallout from the rail strike, and get this, SMART president, SMART is a union, the sheet metal and something or another, President Jimmy Ferguson gave an interview on basically why Biden, quote, did the right thing.
Wow.
So you can just...
Oh, surprised to hear that coming.
Have your own thoughts on that. And in internal union politics, it was outside of the South, but it's worth mentioning that there were a couple of huge labor actions recently, which was the country's largest strike. 36,000 University of California grad workers and researchers with UAW Local 2865 and Student Researchers United voting to ratify contracts by about 62 and 68% respectively in a contentious final stretch. Also, 17,000 NYC nurses with the New York State Nurses Association ended a 3-day strike, securing wage gains and making progress on staffing ratios. And so that leaves the biggest strike now as CNH Case Agricultural implements the strike there by the UAW locals 807 and 180 in Burlington, Iowa, and Racine, Wisconsin. After months of no movement, the workers rejected a new tentative agreement last weekend. After 8 months on the picket line, that's a big move for sure.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.
Which side are you on?